What should I do if I miss my flight? Life is full of surprises. Even if you are punctuality itself, this is not a guarantee that such an unpleasant event will not happen to you. There can be a lot of reasons for being late for a flight. You got the time mixed up, got into a traffic jam, there was a delay in the previous flight during the transfer, etc. There are two options for being late for a plane. Late arrival for registration. Late for boarding. The registration and boarding procedure is carried out in accordance with the following algorithm. Verification of documents and air tickets. Baggage check-in. Getting a boarding pass. Passing security control. For international flights, passport control. Being in the waiting area. Upon the announcement of landing, following on board the aircraft. Standard terms of registration. On domestic lines, start 2 hours before departure, end 30 to 40 minutes before departure. On international flights, start in 2.5 hours, end in 40 minutes. Online registration via the company's website is possible no earlier than 23 hours before departure. You're late for check-in, but the plane hasn't taken off yet. In this case, you can get on a plane. Many airports have check-in desks for late passengers. Just keep in mind that the procedure costs about $60. Business class passengers are usually registered for free. In the absence of a special stand, it is urgently necessary to find an airline representative who can take you on board until the plane takes off. But it should be remembered that there is a pre-flight preparation procedure, so if there is not much time left before the flight, then you cannot expect to get on board, especially if you need to pass passport control. You have checked in, but you are late for boarding. This situation is less common, however, it may happen that you are late for boarding. The boarding time ends 15 to 20 minutes before departure. A passenger who has checked in but has not shown up for boarding is called on the speakerphone. You should contact an airline representative as soon as possible. In an exceptional case, you may be put on a liner. You missed the plane through your own fault. If the plane left without you, you must immediately find the airline administrator. If you have an air ticket, it will help you send the next flight, especially if your ticket is in business class. But you will have to make a reservation and purchase a new ticket at your own expense. A ticket with an open departure date will reduce the surcharge. You missed your connecting flight because of the airline. If a passenger is late due to an air carrier, the company is obliged to put him on the next flight. If there are no other flights on this day, you must be placed in a hotel and sent to the next day. If the connecting flight belongs to another airline, then you should be required to make a note of the flight delay. Then go to the counter of the air carrier whose flight you did not get on, and show a note about the delay of the previous flight. You must be sent on the next flight. At the same time, you do not have to pay anything extra. You did not have time to catch the plane due to the fault of the taxi driver or because of the delay of the train. In this case, you have the right to compensation for material and moral damages. Be sure to take a taximeter receipt or receipt from the driver, where the date, time, state number of the car and details of the carrier are indicated. If the train is delayed, put a mark on the ticket with the head of the train, at what time the train arrived at the station. Next, you should write an application addressed to the head of the taxi ordering service or the person responsible for the transportation of passengers, which sets out what happened. You attach copies of documents confirming losses to the claim, tickets, receipts, etc. You have the right to demand reimbursement of both the fare and the cost of the voucher, the paid hotel, etc. Late for the flight. What to do? 1. Besides, you can demand to pay a penalty at the rate of 3% per hour of delay. The claim is drawn up in 2 copies. On your copy, the head of the service is obliged to make a record of receipt of the claim. If the responsible person refuses to put a mark, it is necessary to enlist the support of 2 witnesses who must make a record when the claim is handed over, and indicate their own data and information from passports. Alternatively, you can send a claim by registered mail with a delivery notification. Be sure to save the receipt and notification. If the service does not respond or tries to resolve the issue in an unacceptable way for you, feel free to contact the court.